Okay, so welcome to this first web conference of English Literature course. I'm going to be your tutor and course director. My name is Jessica Garcia, and I'm really glad to have you all here. Okay, so please turn your cameras on just a little bit. The idea is that we can meet each other and just to see your beautiful, pretty faces, and I can know that I'm not alone here. Okay. I don't feel comfortable um, like having ghosts in this meetings, like having that I'm like kind of a spiritual session, like in those horror movies where someone is asking, like a medium is asking, if you are here, please show your presence. I don't like feeling that way. So please turn your cameras. I just want to know you. Um, and I need someone to help me to be like a monitor. Hi, Miguel. Someone to be the monitor in this meeting, someone that helps me getting the access to the other students. So if someone can help me, please raise the hand so I can turn you into a moderator. Okay. Hello, hello, Paula. And can someone help me, please? Like someone raise the hand and help me to get the permission to other students to join the meeting. No, Madeleine. Okay, thank you. Perfect. So I'm going to make you. Perfect. So you will be helping me. Oh, wait a second. Madeleine. Madeleine, I lost your raise your hand again, please. Okay, perfect. So Madeleine, you will be helping me getting permission to students to join the meeting. And if someone has the microphone on, if it's not participating, you just help me put it in, muting the microphone, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, it's such a pleasure to have you all here. I'm so glad that you decide to join this web conference and that you are active participating in the course forums. The idea is that shortly we will discover like what is the short stories and the importance in English literature. Okay. So before we start working, did I present myself? I'm sorry, I'm so rude. I'm Jessica Garcia, okay? And I am in Centro de Innovación y Productividad Dos Quebradas, okay? So if someone is in Zona Occidente, woohoo, I'm here, okay? Good. So before we start, I would like to play like a little game, okay? So let me share my screen. Oh, I have it here, perfect. Let's see. Okay, so this game it's pretty easy, okay? I'm going to set a timer and you're going to discover you can either active your microphones or you can write through the chat. But the idea is that in a minute, in 30 seconds, because it's easy. In about 30 seconds, okay, let's get a minute. You will describe or you will tell me what is the name of this book, okay, based on the emojis. Clear? Yeah? It's clear? It's understood? Yeah? Thumbs up if you understood. Thumbs down if you don't. Perfect. Okay, so get ready to write in the chat or to activate your microphones and tell me what is the book that you see and these emojis. Okay, ready, set, go. That one is easy. And because I get you like a long time, that one is easy. Yeah, it's Dracula. Perfect. Ready for the next one? Ready, set, go. What is this one? You see a whale, an anchor, a wave, and some eyes. Okay, Miguel says Aquaman. Activate your microphones, guys. Moby Dick. Okay, getting closer. Nobody else? No clue? No clue? Moby Dick. Make your guesses. Okay. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Excellent. It was Moby Dick. It was Moby Dick. Let me turn the timer again for the 30 seconds. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. Free, no clue. Free to Willy. Ready? Go. So you have a thunder, a boy, a microscope, a zombie, and a frost. What is it? Frankenstein? The zombie was the clue. Yeah. There you go. It was Frankenstein. Well done. Ooh, I like this one. Let's see if you can guess it. Ready? I have to set the timer every time. Okay, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Ready, set, go. So you have some creative faces, a picture, like a magic ball, and a boy. What do you think it is? Oh, sorry. What do you think it is? You're so quiet. Don't be shy. 2 seconds. No? Ooh, okay.
Is it
Harry
Oz?
Potter. Okay. Okay, Madeline says that's a Wizard of Oz, and Paula says that's Harry Potter. Do you agree, guys? No clue? Not clue at all? Están muy callados. Y no comemos gente. No? No idea? Okay, this one is the picture of Dorian Gray. The picture of Dorian Gray. Okay? Good. Okay, let's see the next one. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. There we go. Ready, set, go. I think you can guess.
That's the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings. There you go. That was easy. Excellent. Ooh, I like this one. Ready, set, go. What do you think about this one? Can you guess it? Dragon is the bird. Hmm. No, nobody can guess it? No clue? There are some little hints there. Like there's a mountain, there's a dragon, some elves. Hmm. What do you guys think? No? Not clue? Chronicles of Narnia. Mm, close, but no. No clue. Okay. No, nobody. It became a really famous TV show. That's another hint. A really famous TV show. Like for many years. But
I
it's
guess it could be Game of Thrones, but I don't know if it is. Yes, it is.
it is. It is Game of Thrones. Yeah. Yeah. It is Game of Thrones. Okay. Good. Let's see this one. Ready, set, go. These ones are books that later on became movies or TV shows or TV series. So I think I can pretty easy identify them. Hi. Every Christmas, you get this one. No, it's not the Grinch. This one it's played at every Christmas. Yes, yes. Son los fantasmas de Scrooge, but can you guess the name in English? Uh, no, you don't have a clue like the real name of the book, because the movie it's called like the Scrooge, the Night of Christmas, I think it is the actual name of the movie. But the book it's called The Christmas Carol. Okay. En español decimos villancicos, pero en inglés son los Christmas carols. Okay? Okay, so that's the name of the book, The Christmas Carols. What about this one, guys? Okay, Robinson Crusoe. Pirates of Caribbean. Peter Pan. No, but there's a school there. It will be the Peter Pan. It will be like a fairy or something. Okay, Pirates of Caribbean. Yeah, can be. No? No other clue? Okay. This one is The Lost Island. The Lost Island. Yeah. Okay. And this is going to be the last one. Let's see if we can guess it.
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, Alice in Wonderland. There you go. Perfect. Okay, that was just perfect. Okay. Um yeah, that one was easy. That was really easy. Let's see if I can share the presentation once again. There we go. Okay. So in this short web conference, we're going to explore the short stories. Okay. So remember that short stories, I mean, in literature, we have like a different types of reading passages. Okay. But the idea is that we can either explore the importance of literature. Why do we use short stories? Okay. We can recognize the literary periods. We can analyze the short stories using the literary devices to recognize some stylistic features and how do we interpret themes and cultural perspectives. So I want you to tell me, guys, why do we study literature or why do you think it's important? Why did you enroll this course? ¿Por qué matricular en este curso?
Teacher, I enjoy
Because
reading
okay,
books. I like so much. I have a favorite writer. His name is Morris West. He was from Australia, and I like so much. I have around 31 books from him, and I like so much.
Sorry, I think I lost it for a second. I'm going to connect a wire so I have better internet connection. Sorry. Who was who was speaking? Juan Carlos. Juan Carlos, were you talking?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so yes, okay, so say that again. So you were saying that you have a favorite writer, and I
Yep.
lost it. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
go again.
His name Morris West.
Okay.
Yes, he was from Australia, and I have around 30, 31, 32 books from him. Yes, I like
Oh
so much.
wow.
But of course in Spanish, teacher.
Ah, okay. No, but
I, I,
doesn't
I
matter.
only I only have one of them in English. Let me show. I
That's
don't know.
truly okay. Put it a little bit closer. There we go. Morris West, Cassidy.
Yeah,
Okay,
is the
wow.
only one that is in English in my uh,
Library,
library.
bookshelf. Okay.
Yes, but I like so much.
Awesome. That's truly a fan. That's what a fan is. I mean,
Yes.
that's what a fan is. Congratulations.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, Carlos Arturo, I think you also wanted to participate, right?
yes, I think study literature is important for to know different cultures in other decades or times.
Mhm.
Is important for I have fundamental knowledge about it.
Okay, perfect. Good posture. Like it. Thank you. Madeleine or Madeline, how would you prefer to be called?
Madeline.
Madeleine. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, teacher, do like reading, but most of the time I just read in Spanish, and the books that I read are like about personal growth. So I guess this course is or will be really important for me because my boss is from Canada. So when
Okay,
he
nice.
moved to Colombia, he brought all his books with him. So he has a full library with only books in English. So, but most of the stories that he reads are like this type, like literature, like romance, or maybe
Okay.
about soldiers or stories
Okay.
itself.
Okay.
So I guess that with this course, I will get into this world of reading because I read, but in a completely different environment, like some
Okay.
like things that I can learn to my personal growth and not to know about story or something like that. So I guess it will be amazing to go through this.
Awesome. Awesome. It was so nice that you get the chance to read like real material in English, like something aside from what you're used to read. That's good. That's really good. Anybody else? No? Okay. So as you can see, oh, Miguel, go ahead. Yes. Yes.
Okay, hello, teacher. Um, I like study. I like study literature because I consider is a essential. Uh, I like study literature because I consider an essential part in my career. The the Xavi developing mm, em, bueno, no sé cómo decirlo, pero developing in eh,
Say it in Spanish. It's
uh,
okay.
affecting learning
Okay.
in affecting learning um in the creative part.
Okay. Yes.
O- okay.
Okay, that's good. Yes, you can develop like creative creativity through this worlds that you can imagine. You can like put in your head when you are reading because you don't have like the pictures that describe, but the written descriptions and the stories makes you uh open your creativity and imagine all those world scenarios. That's a good one. Thank you, Miguel. So, as you can see, literature enhances our knowledge of the world because we can see different cultural perspectives. We can learn from other societies around the world. We can have knowledge about ancient times. So, actually, our knowledge from previous eras are from based on what we could find in the books. Okay, so we study the history also through those reading passages. Okay. English literature gives us like a self orientation. So, as Madeleine says, she reads like self care books, like those kind of autobiographies. And so it helps her to improve her well being or like be a better person towards different scenarios. So, English literature also gives us like self orientation. It also helps us develop the habit of critical thinking. And this one is super important because the more you read, and as Madeleine, that she's open to different types of literature, you can find different perspectives, you can find different points of view, you can find um, another sides from the story that actually cannot be found easily in this global environment that we have, like you can have different perspectives from the same story. It also enhances awareness of human history. So as I said before, we have the chance to know uh, how people were living like in the Middle East 200 years ago, 2 centuries or 3 centuries ago, thanks to the books. Because sometimes as an expression of art, books, handicrafts, paintings, sculptures always tell stories. So that is why literature helps us to understand better how humans lived in previous times. It gives us appreciation of worldwide living structure because we can find how different cultures are in different periods of time, but also in different countries and different continents as well. So, for example, when we talk about the diaspora, you know what diaspora is? Okay, diaspora is the term that we use from people that were born in a place and it's moving to live in another one. For example, Colombians that migrate to Spain or to the United States or to Canada are the Colombian diaspora. Okay? And diaspora. Okay, the same word it's in Spanish, diaspora. Okay, so we can know, for example, in this case, this course is based on English literature, but we're not focusing on the Eurocentric side of the literature. We are focusing in the Great Britain, but with the old English diaspora. Okay, so we know that we have some knowledge through the colonization in different parts of the world. So we can have in North America, we can have in Australia. India was a British colony for almost 5 centuries, and he got the independence just last century in 1940. For example, in the British Islands that we find in Central America, there are some diaspora there. In Africa, there are some countries that still are colonies from the Great Britain. So uh, since this is focusing on the English literature, we can find the different perspectives, how the Great Britain colonized these different countries and make like a different perspectives and different ways of living in those specific countries. So you can find that Australian culture, it's completely different from Indian culture, for example. Okay, but both were British colonies. Okay, and we can also have the Commonwealth, which is like the union of different colonies, different British colonies to the United Kingdom. Okay, so Canada, for example, it's still part of the Commonwealth. And the way of living, the culture, the way they present to the world is completely different to United States of America. And both are in North America, and like in the northern part of the continent. Both were British colonies. Both countries are independent countries from the Great Britain. Okay, but they have different culture, they have different way of experiencing life, they have different politics, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, so through literature is that we can find this appreciation from the world and the living structure and how different humans are, even if they are living the same experiences, but they perceive it like in different ways. Okay. As Carlos says, of course, literature expands our vocabulary because the better we read, the better we write, of course, okay? Because we acquire vocabulary, grammar, syntax, pragmatics, and different aspects of language and linguistics. And also, literature helps us to become better writers and readers, just for the reasons I already mentioned. Okay? So, in the topic that we are covering today, a short story, it's a brief fictional narrative that is focused on one major conflict. They have a few characters and it has a clear beginning, climax, and resolution. Okay? Like the simple structure of a story. Like, do you remember when you were in elementary school? You were little children that you do you remember the story of the three little pigs? Like la historia de los tres cerditos, los three little pigs. It's pretty easy to get like the structure of the story. Um, the three little pigs start with three little pigs that wanted to each one wants to build its own house, right? And the plot of the story is that when the wolf came and he wanted to destroy each house because he wanted to eat all them all. Okay, so that's the plot or that's the climax of the story. There you find the wolf trying to destroy the wooden house, I forgot the the oh my goodness the esta memoria. The straw, yeah. The straw house was the first one that he destroyed, the Casa de Paja, the straw. So he destroyed the straw house and then he moved to the wooden one. And then he wanted to destroy the house that was out of bricks and he couldn't. So that's the plot of the story. The ending of the story is when the wolf couldn't eat like couldn't catch the pigs because he went like to the rooftop of the bricks house and he went off, he fell out from the chimney and he went to the hot pot, right? And he was burned himself from the hot water and he ran away. Okay, so that's the ending of the story. Okay, so you can identify pretty easily like the elements, like the key elements of a short story. It has a clear beginning, a climax is like when the most attractive and you feel like connected to the story and you want to know what happens next. And then is the resolution, like when the story ends. Is it clear so far? Yeah,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, so of course we have some parts of a story. So it's the plot elements. We have like an exposition, which is an introduction to the characters in the setting. The characters are the persons or animals or objects that are interacted or involved in the story. We have the setting, which is like the scenario, can be a forest, can be a farm, can be New York City, can be the jungle, can be a spaceship, can be Jupiter, whatever. Okay, the setting is that scenario, okay, where the characters are located. Okay, then we got the rising action, which is what is happening with those characters in that scenario that leads to a conflict or a situation that gets some tension in it that you need to know what is happening. Okay? Can be a conflict, can be a problem, can be an adventure, can be two people that fell in love, can be a war, can be someone struggling for living, whatever. The turning point, it's exactly the moment where all the tension is contained in like in a specific situation, like something specifically that is happening. Okay. The couple break out, the spaceship cracks. Mm, there is a bomb that explodes in a city. Um, the characters were lost in the jungle, whatever. Can be like in a specific situation that gets like to the most stress point in the whole story. Then we go to the falling action is like when the events unwind. So they find a solution, they discuss each other, the couple forgive each other, and they are reunited again. The war ends. Suddenly, an astronaut was able to repair the spaceship, etc. Okay, and then the resolution is when the story finally ends. Okay. Freitag exposes. This is a Freitag is a it's a writer from. Oh, give me 1 second, guys. Just give me 1 second. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so Freitag was a famous writer, was Gustav Freitag. It was a famous novelist and writer from the 19th century, so which we're talking about 1800s. Okay, and before the short stories become from the plays, like Shakespeare's plays o las obras de teatro, ¿sí? Para que me entiendan. Um, so short stories are like the written script, or used to be the written script from the plays, okay? So Freita exemplifies and mentions that the key elements to make a short story attractive, like interesting and catching for the readers. Okay. So he shows this pyramid, which is like a progression of how short stories should be written. Okay. So you can see in this pyramid that you find Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and Act 4. It's because, as I said, it belongs to, it used to be like the structure of a play, more or less, obra de teatro. Okay. And here we can find the pyramid. We has this the structure. So in Act 1, you can exemplify like the hook, like how the story begins, what are the characters, what we're doing, okay, like a situation happening, a scenario, a place where it's happening, okay. Mentions like the key event, okay, like the initiating event, the key event, like what is happening that gets like something that desires or needs some attention, the first plot point. Okay, for example, in the story of the astronaut, they need to destroy a huge asteroid. Okay, that will be the first, pardon, the key event. That will be the key event. A group of astronauts needs to go to destroy an asteroid. Good. The first plot will be deciding which group of astronauts, what astronauts, who, it's going to go into the spaceships. Who has the knowledge necessary to go and destroy the asteroid? Okay, I'm just giving whatever example just to be clear. Okay, the first pinch point will be in this story to, let's say, they need to get like a precise speed in the spaceship so they can cross the barrier, like the light. They need to fly in the fast of light. So they need to have like the necessary equations to cross the light barrier. Just saying something. Okay. Then we go. This is the end of Act 2. The midpoint is to getting closer to the asteroid without getting killed. Okay. Because the asteroid is continuing throwing little parts, little rocks. So they need the spaceships to go the closest they can to the asteroid without destroying it. Then you go the second pinch point. Who among the group of astronauts who is going to shoot the weapon, the laser weapon, let's say, whatever. Okay. The third pinch point would be this, a rock hits the spaceship and it caused some damage. Okay, so some of the two astronauts needs to go and repair that part of the spaceship so it can go back to Earth. The climax can be the astronaut shoots the asteroid and it divides in multiple million pieces, and they need to fly back to the Earth, and they also need to get the speed of light to actually get safe to the Earth. Okay, so like all the situation that happens to go back to Earth, and the resolution is that they land successfully to the Earth, and the astronauts are alive, and the Earth is saved. Just to say something. Sí, sí, me comprendieron un poquito, más o menos cómo se estructura un cuento corto o una historia corta. Sí fue claro el ejemplo con lo de los astronautas y la nave espacial y eso. ¿Sí?
Yes, teacher, es como o
Yes,
sea, un
teacher, you just
inicio, un
created a whole
núcleo.
story.
Perdón, levante la manito para que no nos sobrepongamos. ¿Listo? Carlos estaba hablando y luego va Madeline. ¿Listo? Carlos.
Ok, es como pues una introducción de la historia, y empiezan a suceder los hechos como sí, una trama, y luego viene como un punto medio, y luego ya viene como que hay suceden más situaciones, y luego un clímax, digamos, de que la situación no se sabe qué va a pasar, y luego viene el desenlace. Pues así entendí.
Correcto. Madeline.
Teacher, sorry. I was just about to tell you that you just created a whole story for us, so it's really clear.
Yeah, I'm pretty creative. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, the idea is to make it clear for all of you so you understand like the key elements of a short story. Para los demás, ¿quedó claro? Manito arriba, por favor, dedito arriba si quedó claro cómo funciona una historia con cuento corto y cómo cuáles son los elementos. ¿Listo? Porque recuerden que en esta tarea, en el equipo colaborativo, vamos a crear una historia. ¿Listo? Perfect. So, aside from the key elements of a short story, you also need to consider the style, okay? Every writer has its own writing style, okay? And it has like a unique voice, something that differs, makes it different, okay? How different is Shakespeare from Geoffrey Chaucer? How different is Emily Bronte from her sister Charlotte Bronte? Each writer has its own unique writing style. Uh, how different I am as a teacher from other English teachers, okay? Everyone has a unique voice and unique style. So you in your group need to decide which style would you adopt to create your own short story, okay? So for example, diction, it's one key element, like the word choice. Since someone can prefer okay, let's to make it clear. So we have diction, which is the word choice, syntax, which is the sentence structure. The tone can be friendly, professional, academic, dramatic, romantic, sarcastic. Those are tones. And the figurative language, which is the literary devices. Question. Have you watched recently Wednesday or Merlin in Spanish? None of you?
No, teacher.
¿Ninguno se ha
Series?
visto Merlina?
Yes,
No.
yes, I see the first,
The first season?
yes,
Okay,
try to see the second season, but don't find.
okay. Um, I wanted to make it the example with Wednesday, the TV series, because Wednesday Adams, because you can clearly find a huge difference between Wednesday Adams, the way, not only the way she presents, like her outfit and her style, which is pretty gothic and dramatic, but in terms of language speaking, like the way she expressed herself, um, versus the lycanthropus, the wolf girl, which is Enid, Enid Sinclair, I think it's the name. You see that she's pretty shiny and she loves colors and she's like, you know, there's a huge difference between both. Those are girls, are from the same age, studying the same school, but they have completely different outcomes. Merlina in Spanish, Wednesday Adams, she speaks Old English, okay? Like the original. And she speaks Old English, while Enid Sinclair, she speaks like modern English. She uses a cell phone. She has TikTok and social media. So both present completely different and have their own unique style. So the idea is that in your group, you find your style, the word choices, like the way you style, you write, you prefer to be written, the tone, if you would like to be dramatic, friendly, sarcastic, emotional, academic, whatever. Okay? And here I have an example, like the same story from Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway. Both were authors that belong to the same literary period, but their style differs one from another. So since Scott Fitzgerald would say the rich are different from us, Ernest Hemingway will say, yes, they have more money. They are saying exactly the same thing, but with different use of words. Okay, so that is a key element to consider when you are creating your own short story, but also when you are reading short stories. Okay, so you can identify some elements behind the words through the style, diction, syntax, tone, and use of literary devices. Of course, it's also important to consider the multicultural perspectives. Okay, we learn new worldviews, we understand social values and conflicts, we build empathy and global awareness. And as I mentioned before, we can learn from the diaspora. We can learn from how people live in different places of the world, having the same background of the same cultural roots. Okay? So this is an example of a short story. This book, it's beautiful. It's The Thing Around Your Neck by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She's a feminist. She's a worldwide famous feminist. She writes a lot about how her culture denies women and how she fights for female rights, not only in Africa but all around the world. Um, and she in this short story she explains how different it's the life from Nigeria to United States, and how um, African people live and have sometimes to get their own personality behind in order to be able to construct and be part of this new society that open their arms and welcome them to be in that country. So she explores the topic of how she feels lost, that she has no identity, that the she is like too black to be an American person and too white to be Nigerian. So she's like having this mixture of feelings, this sensation of loneliness because she feels that she doesn't belong anywhere. Okay, so it's part of the contemporary literary period, and of course, it talks about the post-colonial narratives from African diaspora. Okay. I really recommend you this story. It's beautiful, and it's really easy to read. It's really easy to read. So if you have family that live abroad, if you have, or you yourself live abroad, you will feel really connected to this story. So I really recommend it. Okay, so as an example of how a short story is done, you can find here, I give you an example of the Freytag pyramid with this short story. So the first part is when she describes her life with her uncle. How did she live in Nigeria? How hard it was. Then when she escaped from Nigeria and she had to move alone, and she traveled alone to get to the United States. Then she explains how was her life with her boyfriend, that she suffered so much because he mistreated her and he abused her. Mm, so the rising action is all the situations that the diaspora have to live or to go through to get some like sense of freedom, because actually that's why people leave their countries, because they want to have like a better life. So that's what she expresses. The climax is her father's death in Nigeria. So how she needs to go back to Nigeria and have the funeral, and she reconnected with her roots. Then she realizes that there is a false American dream, that it's a completely lie, that American dream is not true. It's just a false sensation of freedom, but you get also caught with the need of the consumism and always having more money, more time, more social status, etc., etc., etc. And of course, when I told you that she feels pretty disconnected from her family, because now she's too white to be Nigerian, but she also is too black to be American. And of course, the unachievable happiness, because she's always all the time like trying to have that better life that she thought it was possible by living in the United States, but she finds that it's completely false, that nobody can provide you this better life that you're wishing or you are dreaming of. It's you, the way you personally live, the way you personally identify yourself, and how you present to others is what actually can give you this sensation of freedom. And that's the topic that she explores in this short story. Okay. Questions so far about the structure of a short story? No?
Yes, teacher. The short story has maximum pages, maybe 20, 10, something like that.
Yeah, I mentioned in the learning guide that it's like 3,000 words, because since it's three
By
people,
words.
yeah,
Okay,
by words, yeah, by
okay,
words.
yeah.
Okay. So it's around, I think it's around, it gives you around 5 pages, I think.
Okay, thanks.
It gives you, yeah, it gives you 3,000 words, gives you around 5 pages, I think, more or less. Okay. Madeline.
Teacher, I have a question.
Mhm.
Not about the writing, but the teamwork. I saw on the forum that you wrote something about making the contribution directly on the forum, or we can do a WhatsApp group. We can create a WhatsApp group.
Okay, no, what I actually said is that all contributions must be in the forum. Okay. I know that most of you get WhatsApp groups because it's easier to get communicated and to participate, but you tend to forget to publish your participations in forum. And the official channel is the collaborative forum. Okay. So you can have the WhatsApp groups to contact each other, to chat, to ask you questions, but all the participation must be in the forum. And don't post pictures of the WhatsApp conversations. Okay, don't do that, because I need to see actual interaction among you, in order to be able to provide a good feedback, and and you can construct the final product. Okay, so WhatsApp groups are okay, but don't get all your participation and all your interaction in the group chat. Do it in the forum, please. Okay, or you can either, for
Okay.
example, get like a drive link, so where you are posting your parts or your advancements of the task. But please, 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 pretty please, uh, post your participations in the forum. Okay. Someone else raised the hand, but I couldn't see who. Who was it? No? No more questions? You're all okay? Good. I'm going to go like really briefly through the literary periods. Okay, and I'm going to post this resource in the forum so you can see it. Because my idea is that you can get more information. Where is it? Let's see. Just give me 1 second. Window. This one. Okay. Can you see my screen now? Hello, everybody.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Thank you. Good. So, well, then we can go through this because we already explained this. Okay. So about literary styles, we can find multiple. There is not one specific correct way to classify the literary styles and genres. Those depend on the theorist or the writer that expresses them, but there are like 4 main genres that you can identify, okay? So there's not a specific rule that says this is fiction, this is not fiction, this is poem, this is no. It's just it can be like cross content genres, okay? But according to the Oxford Research Encyclopedia's genres describes a grouping of texts related within the system of literature by their sharing recognizable functionalized features of form and content. Okay, so essentially genres help us categorize literary works that have similar traits. Okay. So you can find poetry, fiction, nonfiction, drama, and prose. This can be like the huge genres, and you can subcategorize, and you can mix genres as well. Okay, so don't feel like stressed for that. So the main genres: poem or poetry. You can find long verse narrative, metaphors, lyrics, and dramatic. Okay, so epics are, for example, the Odyssey, Hercules, everything that speaks about superheroes or like supernatural situations, but everything is related to wars. Okay, to a war. Superhuman feasts, extraordinary adventures, story tales can be also in poem, rhymes, metaphors. Okay. Fiction. Oh my goodness, this one. Is it possible that I can open it? No, I can open it. I cannot open it. Okay, fiction is like the biggest category. So you can find mystery, historical fiction, realism, magical realism, which is Gabriel Garcia Marquez belongs to, fantasy, romance, science fiction, dystopian. This dystopian, it's like I forgot the name in English, but ¿recuerdan la saga de Insurgente? Valiente y creo que Leal es que se llama. That one it's dystopian because dystopian it refers to like a post-apocalyptic future situation, kind of situation. Okay, horror it's also part of fiction. Oops, let me go back. It's also part of fiction. Non-fiction can be autobiographies, biographies, and essays, and those self-care books, like those spiritual books, are also part of nonfiction. Drama, tragedy, comedy, musicals, and melodramas are part of those. Okay, and prose, it can be fiction and non-fictional. Okay, the difference of between poetry and prose is that poetry has like a specific syntax, like a specific grammar structure, no grammar structure, the specific sentence structure. Okay, so for example, words, the first word and the last word have to rhyme. Paragraphs needs to be 4 lines long. It has to begin with a specific word and ends with another one. Okay, so poetry has like some specific details and conditions and structures to be done. Prose, on the other hand, it's just the way we write and we speak usually. Okay, so most of the novels and fantasy books and nonfiction books and horror stories are in prose. Okay, prose is just like a normal way of writing. Okay, so then we have the literary periods. Again, there's not one specific literary like a structure or a timeline of how literary periods should be like enclosed, but like this, the one that I'm presenting you today, it's like the most not the most relevant, but the most common one to classify the literary periods, so you can like get a wider idea of how to separate between periods, especially because since the 19th century and 20th century, literary periods are shorter. Okay, you can see later on that some periods, some literary periods were like 200, 500, almost a century long. Meanwhile, the most recent ones can be 15 years, 20 years, 50 years or so. Okay? Okay, so you can, in this resource, you can click on this just to get some hints. So the Anglo-Saxon period is characterized by poetry. Beowulf is one of the most famous piece of literature. It's heroic, so it means that it's an epic poetry. And it focuses on heroic ideals, pagan traditions, and oral storytelling. Okay. Then we have the Anglo-Norman Middle English period, which is marked by the Norman conquest, sorry. And Geoffrey Chaucer goes here. The Canterbury Tales is one of the most famous book from this story. And remember the Normandy or Norman culture. It's what nowadays is called French or France. Sorry, France. Okay, so Norman Empire or Norman Kingdom conquered most part of Europe and specifically what today we call the United Kingdom. So that is why some words have a French root. For example, we say fiancé, we say biscuit, we say what's the other word? I forgot. We have many words that come from French because the French civilization or the Normandy civilization conquered the United Kingdom in that would be the 14th century, more or less. Right? Then we have the Renaissance. The Renaissance, it's a time with artistic rebirth. So you can find, for example, Da Vinci belongs to this era. And Shakespeare, John Milton comes from this era. And fun fact, Da Vinci was not only a painter, a physician, but he was also a writer. So you can find books written from him. Then we got the neoclassical period. Okay, something that is important to recognize here is that in the Renaissance, the expeditions to conquer new islands or new places began. And here is when they landed to America. Okay. So with the excuse of finding new lands and they were lost, etc., they conquered and they killed American indigenous and civilizations. But this happened in this period of time. Okay. And I mentioned this because we move to the neoclassical period. So this is almost like 2 centuries. Yeah. 2 centuries. Yeah, 2 centuries here. So there were a huge migration from Germans, British, Scottish, and Irish people to the northern part of the continent, and they started building like new civilizations in North America, which is Canada and United States. Okay. So here, close to the end of this neoclassical period, they started like some wars in terms of the independence of some countries. Okay, so it happens through the neoclassical period and the romantic period. I mentioned this because you will find some authors that narrates the experiences of living a civil war or living like the mixture of situations between what was to live in Europe versus to live in America. So they make that contrast. So you will find some authors that narrates those experiences. Okay. Then we go to the Romantic period. Here, the French Revolution happens. Okay. The Romantic period is characterized by this sensation or this need of going back to think on human as a being, and paying more attention to the emotions, to the feelings. So Gothic period is also part of the Romantic period, but Gothic topics expresses more the loneliness, the darkness part of humans. And for example, Edgar Allan Poe and Oscar Wilde are part of this period. Okay. Mary Shelley, for example, she wrote Frankenstein, and she expresses like the loneliness of humans, and she created this monster, like uh, to feel more campaign, and how that civilization treated bad because they considered it was a monster. Okay. Then we go to the Victorian period. So it's named after Queen Victoria. And the topics you will find there focuses more on morality, social issues, the rise of novels, and the despair between the high classes and the low classes in the societal scale, were huge and huge more time to time. Charles Dickens also writes here. The Bronte sisters started writing here. The Industrial Revolution takes place in this era. So they moved from handwriting to the printed writing, so they can publish like more books. Okay. So we're talking about between the 1837 and the 1901. Okay. Then we go to the modern period, which is last century, the 20th century. World War I and II happens. So you can see that most of the topics here will be related or marked by the multiple wars that happen in the world in those times, like in the first part of the 20th century. Okay. So you will find multiple stories related to that. Virginia Woolf, for example, Agatha Christie, it's another one that writes multiple like police novels and criminal novels, which are amazing. That's one of my favorite writers. And they explore those kind of topics. Because all the century was marked, the first part of the century was marked by wars. Okay. Then we go to the contemporary period. Okay, we can say that we go to the postmodern period, that it's from the 1945 until the 2000s, and then we go to the contemporary period from the 2000s from today. But most of the writers explore topics about globalization, the digital era, the self-exploration, inclusion, diversity, climate change, etc., etc. Yeah, the multiculturalism and the impact of technology in society. So you can find multiple topics, multiple styles. There's not like one specific literary style genre that defines the contemporary period, because some authors, some writers prefer to recall some old styles and they adapt it for themselves. So there's not a specific genre or style that defines the contemporary period. Okay. Good. Questions so far? Remember that I'm going to publish that presentation in your forum so you can have more information about it. Let me know if you have any questions, something that you would like to ask. No questions, guys?
No, teacher.
Carlos, yes.
Yes, teacher. I want to know that style apply in the short story with my group. Maybe fiction or non-fiction. What difference in this style?
Okay. So you would like to have fiction or non-fiction in your story?
Aún no hemos escogido eso.
Ujú. Sí, la idea es que en este momento ustedes elijan cuál va a ser el género literario y el estilo que con el que quieren escribir su cuento corto, ¿sí? La idea es que hoy ustedes mismos, ya al finalizar esta web, publiquen en el foro, ¿sí? ¿Cuál va a ser el estilo para la presentación? ¿Listo?
Perfect, teacher.
¿Listo? La idea es que entre ustedes conversen y pues digamos que quienes asistieron a esta web pues le compartan también a sus compañeros como un poco de lo que vimos y que por favor pues obviamente el resto vea la grabación. Que vayan pensándose, o sea, se vayan distribuyendo los roles, quién va a escribir el inicio, quién va a escribir el plot, quién va a escribir la resolution, quién se va a encargar de los gráficos y la narración, quién se va a encargar de ponerle la voz al cuento. Pues obviamente la idea es que tenga un poco como de todos, pero que en esta construcción se ve algo bien interesante, bien chévere. Voy a ver si por acá tengo algún ejemplo. Yo creo que yo debo tener algún ejemplo por acá del periodo anterior. Déjenme ver. Hubo unos bien interesantes. Creo que mi intención con este ejercicio es que... Ay, no lo tengo acá. Ah, sí, sí lo tengo acá. Sí, sí lo tengo acá. Qué bien. Ok. La intención con este ejercicio, pues es obviamente que ustedes puedan despertar su creatividad y que de una manera, digamos, como poco ortodoxa, por decirlo así, puedan entender cuál es la funcionalidad de los cuentos cortos. Digamos que quisiera poder abarcar mucho de la literatura inglesa, pero pues es que existen maestrías y doctorados y postdoctorados en literatura inglesa. O sea, aquí hay mucho, hay demasiado por abarcar. Pero pues es un curso teórico, electivo, de 2 créditos, entonces como que mi intención es que ustedes al menos se puedan llevar un poco de la riqueza o la importancia de ver la literatura inglesa, pero que no la veamos desde una visión eurocentrista, enfocada únicamente, digamos, como en esta parte colonizadora del Reino Unido y cómo ellos ejercieron presión sobre el resto del mundo, sino que veamos esas otras perspectivas multiculturales de la diáspora, ¿cierto? De estas colonias en India, en Filipinas, en Australia, incluso en Centroamérica, aquí mismo en Colombia, San Andrés y sus islas fueron parte de la colonia británica, las Antillas, Canadá, el propio Estados Unidos, sí, o sea, cómo se envuelve todo este ejercicio porque realmente hay mucho que abarcar. Entonces, pues esta vez quisimos como no enfocarnos en textos de literatura universal, que pues hay unos textos bellísimos de diferentes periodos literarios muy bonitos, pero que pues sesgarlo de esa manera, como que no permitiría tener ese concepto global, ¿cierto? Y que pues como futuros docentes de inglés, pues nosotros también les enseñamos a los chicos cultura, ¿sí? O sea, un idioma también es cultura. Entonces, que ustedes puedan tener como al menos un pequeño reflejo de cómo es la literatura inglesa, cuál es su riqueza y cuál es su valor y su aporte en el aprendizaje de una lengua extranjera. Que lo puedan utilizar, que lo puedan adaptar para sus cursos, en su propio ejercicio docente, que aprovechen, por ejemplo, técnicas de comprensión de lectura, que lo vamos a ver más adelante en la tarea 3, que lo puedan ver de esa manera, ¿cierto? Para que ustedes mismos también lo adapten y lo utilicen en su propio ejercicio docente. Entonces, que como que a muy grandes rasgos ese es el objetivo del curso. Qué rico que le puedan sacar mucho provecho a este curso, que se lo gocen. Ay, gracias, déjame.
¿Cuál con esa le cojo? Porque
Cualquiera. Eso. Y que le saquen mucho provecho al curso y que pues obviamente le vean la usabilidad. En su futuro como profes. ¿Listo? No sé si se me queda algo más por contarles. Ay, este ya no me quiso cargar. Quería mostrarles un cuento muy bonito que hizo un compañero de ustedes. Pero, ay, a ver. Vamos a ver si este me abre. Creo que es esta plataforma que no me quiere abrir. Qué mal. Sí, qué lástima, no. Em, Bueno, no, mi intención es que más adelante pueda mostrarles, podamos crear como un repositorio, ¿sí? Ay, no me deja abrir, qué mal. Un repositorio como de estos cuentos, porque he visto unos cuentos muy bonitos. En el periodo anterior habían unos trabajos muy bonitos, le metieron mucho amor al diseño de los cuentos y se vio muy chévere la participación de los grupos colaborativos. Entonces, qué rico que le saquen provecho a este curso, que aprovechen el material que hay disponible para el desarrollo de las actividades. Obviamente hay dos libros que son bastante largos, son como 500 páginas, pero la idea es que ustedes como que busquen, hay uno que no recuerdo el autor, está aquí en la tarea 1. Y este tiene como los cuentos cortos distribuidos por género literario. Entonces está muy chévere para que ustedes, si eligen uno de esos géneros literarios, digan, ok, sí, me identifico con este género y me gustaría como utilizarlo, ¿no? Espérenme. Juan, creo que está aquí en la tarea 2. El de Enid Dinis, uno que se llama The Complete Short Stories. Ese está muy chévere. Y el que dice, bueno, hay uno que dice Types of Genres, también muy chévere. Solo que bueno, y el de Adrian Hunter, uno que se llama The Cambridge Introduction to the Short Stories in English. Ese y el de Complete Short Stories tienen muchas páginas, pero la idea es que ustedes puedan como entrar, revisar el material y como mirar cuál género les llama la atención y que como que ahí se puedan leer ese capítulo en específico como para que ustedes se puedan empapar un poquito más. ¿Listo? Questions? Something you would like to ask? Something you want to say? Or are we good to go? Thank you, Juan Carlos. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a nice rest of the week. And well, anytime, I'm right here to help you. If you have any question, you can join this Teams group, or you can write through the forums and I will help you out. Okay? Thank you so much for coming. Have such a nice afternoon or morning, depending if you are in another place of the world. Okay? Thank you so much. Okay, Madeline, yes.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank
Teacher,
you.